This video is closed captioned. Hello travelers, it's Anthony, and welcome back to the Travel Droner channel. I'm so excited about today's video featuring the country where I currently reside. I will share with you today how to stay safe in Mexico and avoid the most common tourist mistakes you should avoid when visiting this beautiful country. Mexico is a fascinating country with a rich culture and history, but there are a few things you should avoid if you don't want to look like a tourist. Many people think it's all beaches and margaritas, but there's much more to this great country. Today, we'll be sharing 20 of the most common tourist mistakes you can be sure to avoid, allowing you to maximize your time in Mexico. Number 20. Only visiting Cancun. Cancun is famous for its epic coastlines, luxurious all-inclusive resorts, and Mayan ruins close by, welcoming tourists of all ages and backgrounds. Cancun is an excellent introduction to tourism in Mexico, but it's not representative of everything available in this beautiful country. Mountains, cenotes, dense jungles, deserts, highlands, and more, making it an attractive place for anyone looking to explore nature. Number 19. Don't pack your valuables. While crime isn't rampant in Mexico, it's always wise to reduce your risk when traveling. One way to accomplish this is to leave expensive jewelry, fancy smartwatches, and designer bags at home or in your hotel safe. Not only will it lighten your load, but you won't be a walking target for anyone looking to lift a quick profit. Number 18. Please don't assume it's always warm. Sun-kissed beaches and the hot equatorial sun beating down on the landscape are what most think of when it comes to Mexico. But the country is diverse and offers plenty of varying weather to enjoy. The highlands have milder temperatures, and even the warm tropical regions see rain more than once during summer days. Check the forecast and pack for the varying weather you might encounter. Number 17. Don't assume tips are included. Mexican service industry relies on tips since the base wages are so low, so tipping in Mexico is standard 10% at least, and for good or exceptional service 15 to 20%. Even if your resort says tipping is forbidden or included in your rate, the employee who takes care of your well-being at the resort makes minimum wage, so a tip is always appreciated and welcome. So, always have a little extra money on you, so you aren't caught with a need and no funds. Number 16. Don't flush your toilet paper. Public bathrooms will usually have plenty of signage directing guests to dispose of toilet paper in trash baskets, but it's good to be aware of this practice so you aren't caught off guard. Much of the plumbing in Mexico simply can't handle the additional stress of toilet paper, or septic systems don't measure up. Number 15. Falling prey to aggressive salespeople at the airport. As soon as you get through customs and collect your bags, you'll need to get from the airport to your next destination, and it's always best to arrange for your travel ahead of time. Dozens of overly helpful people will offer you directions, transportation, and even some welcome margaritas or invite you for a complimentary breakfast to try and capture your attention. Don't succumb. They are not airport employees. They belong with resorts and other timeshare companies or vacation clubs, and they'll do just about anything to get you to attend a high-pressure sales pitch presentation. If you enjoy our videos, join us on our journey worldwide by subscribing to our channel. Please click the bell icon to get notified when we publish a new video. Number 14. Fake tequila. Mexico is renowned for its tequila. The best tequila are meant for sipping and savoring, not just bottomless margaritas, and it's more complicated than you might think to find authentic tequila when visiting Mexico. Just like champagne is only champagne if it comes from a specific region, so too is tequila only tequila if it comes from a qualified Mexican state. Only 5 states have the coveted title. Look for labels indicating 100% agave marking the authentic options. Ask your bartender to help you navigate the many options, and go outside your comfort zone by selecting brands you've never heard of. Number 13. Don't use regular sunscreen in the water. The waters in Mexico are home to diverse and delicate wildlife. Reef-safe sunscreen is a worthwhile investment to protect the reef system that line the coast of Mexico. It saves more than just the reefs, keeping all kinds of organisms safe from the harmful chemicals found in common sunscreens. Number 12. Don't feel like you have to visit the ruins. The Mayan ruins and other cultural and historical ruins are located in beautiful locations and offer an insight into the important history of the region, but it can also be, well, boring. They take time and effort to access, and if you aren't interested in ancient architecture, your whole visit might be wrapped up in half an hour. They're excellent for those who are interested and perfectly acceptable to skip if they aren't your thing. Number 11. Treating Mexico like Las Vegas' Strip. Mexico might have a reputation as a country rife with parties, but you might also be surprised to learn that drinking alcohol on the streets is illegal. Don't assume you can walk up and down the road sipping your margarita or Corona, or you can get arrested for up to 36 hours in the local jail called El Torito. Number 10. Don't just eat at the buffets. If you're staying at an all-inclusive resort, you're likely excited about all the on-site amenities, and while it's convenient and familiar, featuring international cuisine that's sure to please most palates, you're also missing out on the decadent cuisine Mexico offers. Explore the area, eat tacos, tamales, salsas, and regional favorites, and partake in one of the most exciting aspects of Mexican culture. Number 9. Assuming everyone knows English. Suppose you stay at one of the hundreds of all-inclusive resorts in Mexico. In that case, your exposure to the locals will be confined to those employed by the hospitality industry, specializing in English-speaking travelers. But don't take that to mean that everyone in Mexico speaks English. Far from it. In heavily touristed areas, getting by with English is possible, but attempting to speak the language will always be appreciated by the locals. Learn a few keywords or phrases, or bring an app like Google Translate so you aren't caught unprepared to communicate with someone in Spanish. Number 8. Forgetting cash. With Apple Pay available through your watch and ever-advancing mobile payment technology, carrying cash is a dying art, but you don't want to be caught without it when traveling in Mexico. We've already covered the tipping situation, but offering tips to service staff and drivers or paying for food and beverages in more remote areas will require cash. Number 7. Forgetting traveler's insurance. The chances of needing traveler's insurance are slim, but never zero. And yet, remarkably for travelers opt to purchase this short-term safety net. It's helpful if your flight gets canceled, something that's happening everywhere due to labor shortages, or if you lose an important document like your passport. More importantly, you won't need to panic about unplanned expenses if you find yourself sick or injured. Number 6. Don't expect quiet hours. Some may say Americans are loud, but Mexico is an extremely loud country. Loud trucks and cars with heavy exhaust amble by, often blasting music or ads between songs. You also shouldn't be surprised if neighbors host a party and celebrate well into the evening. Roll with it. It's part of the culture. But if you're a light sleeper, you might want to bring a pair of earplugs. Number 5. Taking unlicensed taxis. Very important that you only use licensed taxis from taxi centrals or established points like plazas, hotels, and shopping centers. They are called taxis de sitio and are the safest option for a taxi ride if you are not using Uber or any other rideshare app to get around. Don't get into any taxi you find driving by you and offering a ride. Kindly decline. In Mexico City alone, there are over 20,000 pirate taxis where you can get robbed at the minimum. So, steer clear on this one. Number 4. Credit cards and ATM. Don't make a mistake and use your credit cards everywhere you go, and be careful when using them. Rule number 1 is never to hand your card to the waiter or anyone to run off with it to the back of the store or kitchen to charge the card. Instead, let the waiter bring the mobile Wi-Fi credit card terminal to your table to charge the bill. Rule number 2. If you use your credit debit card to withdraw some cash from an ATM, I would suggest you do that only at local banks and supermarkets or shopping plazas where the ATMs are inside guarded by security personnel. There are 2 kinds of ATMs in Mexico. Privately owned ones that charge about a $20 fee for any withdrawal of a few bucks, and an outrageous alarming exchange rate on top of that to give you dollars instead of pesos. Here, you run the risk of getting your card skimmed, and before you know, your bank accounts are drained and emptied back home. The other ATMs are owned by local banks giving out local currency, pesos instead of dollars, like the tourist trap ATMs. And they are safe if you use them inside a bank branch or supermarket, but make sure it has a Mexican bank name. Don't fall for the ones giving you dollars. That will be an all-around lousy experience. Number 3. Don't take the first price offered. Mexico is a great place to practice your haggling skills. Whether a local vendor selling their handcrafted work or an exotic animal owner displaying their oversized python at a Mayan ruin for a photo op, there's probably room to bargain. Locals always haggle, so you won't be viewed as rude if you offer a lower price. Number 2. Don't drink the tap water. Always drink water that comes from a sealed bottle. And think about where your ice is coming from as well. Large operations like hotels and restaurants will be using safe, factory-made ice, but heading to a local's home for dinner isn't likely to have ice that isn't made from tap water. Not even the locals drink tap water, so take a cue from the locals and protect yourself by drinking bottled water. Showering is safe as long as you aren't drinking the water, and you can further protect yourself by using bottled water to rinse your mouth after brushing your teeth. Number 1. Don't purchase or consume drugs in Mexico. If you want a great time in Mexico, please avoid drugs and anyone offering them. Don't try to buy or consume drugs while in Mexico. If you are offered drugs on the streets or beach of your resort or in the disco, do not accept that offer, or you can get yourself in a lot of trouble and win a paid all-inclusive state vacation in a dirty, crowded Mexican jail for a very long time, just for simple possession of a small amount of anything, even prescription drugs or being under the influence of drugs. That is also enough to get your vacation ruined. Mexico has steep penalties for all drug offenses, so think again. The jails here are not up to your country's standards. Don't turn your Cancun or Los Cabos luxury all-inclusive resort vacation into a bad nightmare. How many of these mistakes did you make the first time you went to Mexico? Are there others you've made that we didn't mention today? Let us know in the comments so we can all learn from your experiences. Give us your top 3 tips for a smooth visit to a foreign country below. We might just feature them in an upcoming video. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave us with a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. Until next time.